Never ignore that feeling in your gut. You know the one, like when something feels off, but you tell yourself you're just imagining things. Well, the people in these stories ignored that feeling, and they paid for it. I grew up in a small town in Maine. Our house was old, like creaky floors, weird smells, doors that wouldn't stay shut, kind of old. But it was home until I turned 10, when everything changed. It started small, little tapping noises are coming from the ceiling at night. My parents said it was squirrels, maybe raccoons. Classic explanation, right? Except the noises weren't random. They followed a pattern. Tap, 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 pause, tap, almost like code. I remember lying in bed, holding my breath, listening to it repeat over and over. One night it got louder, scraping, dragging, like something heavy was being pulled across the attic floor. But here's the thing, the attic had no floor, just insulation and wooden beams. Nothing could be dragged, I told my parents again. They checked. Found nothing. They stopped believing me after that, but I knew what I heard. A few weeks later, I woke up in the middle of the night. Not because of the noise, but because it was completely silent. No wind, no creaks, not even the usual hum of the old heater. Then, I noticed my door was open. I always closed it, always. I sat up in bed now, and that's when I saw it. A face, peeking from the ceiling vent. Not a raccoon, not a person, something else. Its skin was grayish, eyes are too large. Smiling, I screamed. My dad rushed in, but not in a good way. The vent was empty. They told me it was a dream, but I never slept. In that room again. Years later, we moved out. And guess what the new owners found? A crawl space behind the attic wall. Inside, they found blankets, old food wrappers, and scratches. Tons of deep scratches in the wood. Someone had been living up there. But I still don't think it was a person. I was 17 when this happened. My cousin Jake and I were big into camping. We'd head out into the forest near our hometown in Oregon every summer. No phones, no internet, just a tent, some snacks, and the stars. This trip felt normal at first. We all hiked deep into the woods, found a nice clearing by a stream, set up camp, cooked dinner, shared some dumb, scary stories by the fire. All the usual stuff. Then around 2 a.m. I woke up. I didn't know why at first, just had this sudden jolt, like I'd been shaken awake. Jake was snoring softly. The fire was out, but I noticed something outside the tent. A shadow. It wasn't moving, just standing there. Tall, thin, facing our tent. At first I thought it was a tree, but there were no trees that close. I watched it for what felt like forever. Then it moved, fast, like inhumanly fast. I sat up, heart pounding. Jake woke up, groggy. I told him. We looked outside. Nothing there. We brushed it off. Tried to go back to sleep. The next morning we found footprints. Bare feet, long toes, not ours, leading in a wide circle around our tent. That night it got worse. We heard whispering, not from one place, from everywhere. Like the forest was breathing words. At one point, Jake screamed. He said something had brushed his face inside the tent. When we turned on our flashlights, we saw scratch marks on the inside of the fabric, like someone had clawed it from within. We left before sunrise. Later, we told an old park ranger about it. He didn't laugh, didn't call us crazy, just nodded slowly and said, "Some places don't want to be found twice." We never went back. I was home alone for the weekend. My parents were visiting family. I was 19, old enough to be trusted. Big mistake. It was a Friday night. I was curled up on the couch, watching something dumb. Around midnight, I heard a knock at the door. Not the doorbell, just knocking. Slow, rhythmic. 3 knocks. I froze. No one should have been there. Our street's pretty quiet, and we live on a hill with a long driveway. You don't just end up at our door by accident. I got up, peeked through the peephole. There was a man, wearing a hoodie, head down. I couldn't see his face. I waited. Another knock. 3 more. He didn't speak, didn't look up, didn't move. I didn't open the door, obviously. But then he did something worse. He started trying the handle, twisting it, quietly, like he was trying not to be heard. I backed away, grabbed my phone, called 911. As I was on the phone, I looked back through the peephole and he was gone, like completely vanished. No sound, no footsteps. Police came, checked around, found nothing. But that's not the end. The next morning I found something, taped to the back of our mailbox, which sits way at the end of the driveway, was a Polaroid photo of me, taken from inside the house, through the living room window. From the night before, I still have no idea how he got that picture, or how long he was watching me. I've never stayed alone again. It's easy to pretend these kinds of things only happen in movies. But these people, they lived it, and they'll never forget it, neither will you. Watch the next video, it gets even scarier.